Hello everyone, welcome back to our Mastering SQL Server comprehensive training. This is part 9 and today we are going to dig a little deeper into the cursors in SQL Server. Before moving forward, make sure you have completed part 8 as it covers the foundational concepts we will be building on today. In this session, we will focus on practical uses, performance considerations, and best practices. Our objective today is to ensure you understand and when a cursor is appropriate, how to implement it correctly, and what alternatives you should consider first. Let's begin. So, what is cursor in SQL Server? Cursor is a database object used to retrieve, navigate, and process rows from a result set one record at a time instead of all at once. It's process row by row processing. Normally, SQL works with complete result sets. A cursor is useful when you must apply logic to each row individually. Cursor can be called as a workspace or a private sector area or a buffer. Cursor is the memory location where SQL tables are stored. So the types of cursors, there are two types of cursors, implicit cursor and explicit cursor. Let's discuss one by one. So first we will discuss about the implicit cursor. So this type of cursor will be created by SQL Server. The table stored in an implicit cursor will be accessed by select statement. This is automatically created by SQL Server for statements like select, insert, update, delete. The user does not create or control this type of cursor. Processes data internally without row by row navigation by the programmer. Now discuss about the second type of cursor, which is nothing but the explicit cursor. This will be created by the user. The table stored in an explicit cursor can display the records one by one or record by record. It can show records in forward and backward directions, that is from first to last or last to first. This is created and controlled by the user. It allows moving through records one row at a time. So when to use explicit cursor? So when we have a row level business logic is needed and the dependent calculation must run per record. So what is the cursor life cycle? An explicit cursor always follows these steps, that is, first declare, then open, then fetch, then close, and the deallocate. So declare means we can define a cursor, open means execute a query and create result set, fetch means retrieve one row at a time, close means release current result set, and deallocate means remove cursor from memory. So here is the syntax of explicit cursor, that is declare cursor name cursor for select statements, then open cursor, then fetch first, private, next, last from cursor name into the variables, then close cursor name, deallocate cursor. So we can see a real-time example to create a cursor to display records from employee table. So let's see this in real time. Okay, let me open SQL Server Manager Studio and let me create a cursor. Okay, so here I am declaring three variables like e number, e name, and the T salary. Okay, then I am going to create a cursor, that is C1. Declare cursor, cursor1. Declare C1 cursor for select e number, e name, salary from EMP. Then open cursor, that is C1. Fetch next from C1 into T e number, T e name, and the T salary. While at the first underscore status equals to 0, then begin. Now here I am printing the T number, T name, and T salary. Okay. Fetch next from C1 into the T e number, T e name, T salary. Then end, then close C1 and deallocate C1. Okay. Okay. Let me execute this. So it gives me 13 records. Okay. That is Sanjay means employee number, employee name, and the salary. Okay. Now here is some points we need to keep in mind. That is @ page underscore status is the predefined global variable used to check whether the cursor fetch operation was successful or not. So the condition meaning. Okay. So @ fetch underscore status equals to 0, then it gives us successful, that is record is found. @ fetch underscore status equals to -1, then no more records, that is end of end cursor. Then @ fetch underscore status equals to -2, then it gives fetch error or row is missing. If the cursor is not containing any records, then @ fetch underscore status variable value will be a -1. So cursor types. So there are 4 cursor types, that is static cursor, dynamic cursor, key set cursor, and fast forward cursor. So let's discuss one by one. First, we will discuss about the static cursor. So static cursor will be creating the cursor and the results it is stored in a table variable. Data changes made in the underlying table will not be reflected after opening the cursor. Result is copied into a temporary table. Changes made to a base tables are not visible in cursor. It is slow but stable. So the second one is our dynamic cursor. So this is the default type of cursor. Data changes made in the table will be reflected in the cursor while it is fetching. So it reflects real-time changes. In insert, update, delete shows during fetch. It uses more memory and processing cost. So third one is the keyset cursor. So while creating explicit cursor, if cursor type is given as keyset, then for each record in the explicit cursor is a key. A key is used to uniquely identify each records in the explicit cursor. All the keys will be stored in a table, and then the values will be stored in the DB. Only the primary key values are stored. Data changes are reflected except new rules added, allows, updates, and delete on existing rows. The next one and the last one is fast forward cursor. So if explicit cursor is fast forward, then the explicit cursor will be a forward only and read only. Forward only means records can be accessed only in a forward direction, and reading the value in explicit cursor cannot be modified or deleted. Forward only means plus read only. Okay, it gives best performance. It cannot scroll backward or modify data. So the navigation types in cursor. So there are two types, that is forward only, this is the default, and the scroll. So let's discuss one by one. So first discuss about the forward only. So this is the default. It will show the records in forward direction only. Cursor moves only forward. Supported fetch options are the next. It supports only one option, that is next. The second one is the scroll. Okay. So it will show records in forward and backward direction, allows bidirectional movement, and it supports the fetch options like first, last, next, and the prior. Then the lock types. There are two types of locks. The first one is the read only and the optimistic. Let's discuss one by one. Let's discuss about the first one is the read only. While creating an explicit cursor, if locked up is read only, then the values in the explicit cursor cannot be modified or deleted. Retrieved rows cannot be modified or deleted. It is the fastest options. The second one is the optimistic. While creating a cursor, if lock type is not given, then the default lock type will be optimistic. This lock type allows you just to do changes in explicit cursor. It allows row modifications. The rows are locked only during update, not during fetch. It has the best concurrency. So here is the syntax of cursor declaration with the options. That is the declare cursor name, cursor, with the option like static dynamic key set forward. Okay. Then forward underscore only or scroll. These are the navigation type. Read only or the optimistic. These are the lock types. For the select statements, that is the default one. Okay. So now we can discuss about the local cursors. So if explicit cursor is written inside a trigger or stored procedure, then it is called as local cursor. It can be used in .NET projects. A cursor declared inside a trigger or stored procedures exists only for a duration of that block, commonly used in .NET linked SQL operations. So now we can see another real-time example of an explicit cursor to display records from employee table in the backward direction. Okay, let's see this in the real time. So here I am going to create a cursor, means cursor. Okay, before that I am going to declare three variables, that is the TE number, TE name, and the T salary. Now I am declaring a cursor with the option that is scroll for, then the select statement, select employee number, name, salary from the EMP. Then I am going to open a cursor, then fetch last from the cursor, that is 7 into the variable that is TE name, TE number, and the T salary, while at the rate fetch underscore status equals to 0. then we are printing this value, and then the fetch prior from C1 into this variable. Okay, so here prior means it retrieve the previous rows. Okay, now close cursor and then deallocate cursor. Let's execute this and see the record. Okay, so here is the employee ID, means it printing last to first. Okay, the 13, 12, 11, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see this from here. Okay, in the from the employee table. Okay, here is the Ravi, Ajay, Rao. This is the ascend in this is the ascending order, but we are using the last option, so it will gives us in last first. Okay, here. Now let's discuss the advantages of the cursor. It handles row level logic easily. It is useful for the complex validations. Uh, it is necessary when rows depends on the previous row result. So what are the disadvantages of cursor? It is slower than set-based queries. It uses high memory and CPU, can block other operations, and it has the poor scalability. So here some points we need to consider: when to use cursor and when to avoid. So avoid cursor when possible. So before cursor, you can use the alternative like prefer set-based queries, use join, city, merge statement, or the while loops on the temporary tables for the better performance instead of cursor. Okay, so this is all about the cursor in the SQL Server. So if you like this video, please like, follow, and subscribe the Tech channel for more technical videos. Thank you.